All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's episode of the Money Sense Mini Workshop. I'm happy that you're here with us today, and for those of you who are watching online, you're also welcome. If you find this video useful, the things that we share here useful, please share with your community so that we all can learn and grow together as well, right? So for those of you who are here, thank you for joining me. So today I'm going to be sharing with you the importance of liquidity in life and business, right? Liquidity. The importance of liquidity in life and business. So why does liquidity matter? Okay, why does liquidity matter in life and business? As a person who is here, why should you be liquid? I was discussing with one of my guys the other time, and he was telling me that, man, I cannot afford not to be liquid. Okay, I cannot afford not to be liquid. Now, you need to really understand the importance of that. But before you look at it from that perspective, you need to understand two things. First thing is, you need to be rich, right? Then you need to be wealthy. Okay, you need to be rich, then you need to be wealthy. Now, when we're talking about rich, what does it mean to be rich? Rich talks about liquidity, talks about cash flow. Okay, if you have access to cash flow, if you run a business or you have a job that gives you money that helps you to meet your needs and have extra, okay, you are rich. You're rich. That extra that you have is liquidity. It's a liquidity that you can use to do a whole lot of other things. Now, you being rich is not really a function of the amount of money you make. Okay, it's a function of how you are able to manage your needs, how you're able to define, right? How you're able to define and manage your needs. If you have just few things to take care of, okay, if you define your needs narrowly and you have just few things to take care of in function of as a result of your needs, it simply means that you have excess cash flow. So for example, let's assume that you're in Nigeria and you earn like say a million, right? Let's assume you earn like 1 million naira per month from your business or from your job or whatever. Now, because of how you have defined your needs, you're just able to spend like say 200k per month. Okay, 200k per month is a function of your fixed expenses and your variable expenses. It simply means that at the end of the month, at the end of each month, you have 800k. Now, this 800k is the extent to which you're rich. Okay, because this is a liquidity. This is a liquid pool of money that you can now use for so many other things. The problem with so many people is that even when they have narrow definition of needs, they don't know what to do with their liquidity. So when this liquidity grows over time, they just find themselves in a position where they are wasting the whole money, using it to do unplanned charity, being in positions they are not supposed to be in. And that's because of the fact that they look at themselves, they have a lot of money and their needs are narrowly defined. They have just few needs. So they just feel like, well, I have a lot of money, so I might equally just spend it. Now, what you should understand is that when you have to be rich first before you can be wealthy, actually. Okay, from the sense of measuring rich in terms of cash, right, and net worth. That's different between what you own and what you owe. You have to be rich first before you're wealthy. How? It is when you have cash flow, right, which you are able to conserve over time, then you can afford to transfer that into asset. Okay, then you can afford to transfer that into asset. Unless if probably you are a trust fund kid, your parents left you a trust fund, they left you a stash of money, a stash of asset, right, which you can now liquidate and turn it into cash, which will now make you rich because you're liquid, right? So you need to understand that you have to first of all be rich for you to be wealthy. And how you do that is by making sure that you increase your cash flow while making sure that your needs are narrow. Okay, so you need to make sure that your cash flow goes up. So whatever it is that you are doing, you have a cash cow business, right? Make sure that your business is a cash cow, right? Or your job, you make sure that you have a job that pays you good money, or you have multiple things that you do on the side apart from your main job that help you to be in possession of cash. This is what will make you to be rich. Cash flow is what will make you to be rich. Like I tell people, cash is not king. Cash flow is king. You don't just need cash, you need the cash to be flowing continuously. So cash flow is more important than just having cash, because if you have cash and there is no cash flow, right? If you have a pool of cash and there is no cash flow, what happens is that with time, the pool of cash will dry out, right? And even if you have a pool of cash and you invest or you convert some of that into asset or into opportunities, what happens is that if there is no continuous inflow into the pool will dry out. So you will now be asset rich, you will have a lot of assets, but cash poor. So in that instance, if opportunities come, you have to liquidate your asset or have to go borrowing for you to be able to seize opportunities. Now, there's a place for that, and that is also important. But as a young person who is just starting out, that is not what you're supposed to be concerned with at the moment, right? You need to focus on making sure that you grow your cash flow, but at the same time, make sure that your need is down, right? Make sure your need is down. I think I did a video the other time where I was talking about, needs, wants, and all of that. So you can check it out somewhere. It's attached to this video. You can, in the comment, in the description of this video, you can find it there. So make sure that your needs are down, your cash flow is up. Okay, this is what will improve your liquidity position. Okay, now, why is it important that you are liquid? Okay, why is it important that you're liquid? So in 1936, John Maynard Keynes propounded a theory called the Liquidity Preference Theory, and the theory was saying that there are three reasons why every individual or every business should be liquid. There are three reasons why you should have cash at bank or cash at hand at every point in time. Okay, number one is transactionary purposes. Okay, for transactionary purposes, there will always be needs to carry out transactions. It is transactions that make economies to run. Without transactions, economies will not be, functional. If transactions die down, right, the economy will collapse. So there is always need for transactions. Transactions are like the grease that oils the wheel of the economy. So at every point in time, there is need for transactions to be going on. And for you to be an economic player, right, you need to be a part of this transaction. Because in the transactions, we have buyers and we have sellers. If you are constantly buying, the question is, how are you going to trap some value to yourself? What are you selling as well? So you must be in the transaction cycle, buying and also selling. So as you're buying from people, you should also be selling from people. So liquidity is important for you to be able to buy from people. Okay, liquidity is very important for you. Important for you to be able to buy from people. That's one of the reasons why you hold cash. The other one is for precautionary motives, right? Precautionary motive. Okay, this is where we talk about. Things like your emergency fund. Okay, your emergency fund, why you need to have emergency savings or why you need to have emergency fund. Precautionary, because things happen, right? And when things happen, you need to be able to absorb the shocks of, whatever it is that has happened. Because the truth is that some people are just one event away from bankruptcy, and that is not supposed to be. They are just one health problem away or one business problem away from totally going bankrupt. And the thing is that when you begin to sink and you don't have something to hold you up, you don't have some kind of cash base to hold you up, right? You will keep sinking and sinking and sinking until you find yourself in the bottomless pit. So it's very important that you have some kind of cash at bank or cash at hand saved up, right? Liquid, okay, in a liquid asset or in a liquid position that will help you to be able to absorb some shocks of life when they occur. So this is the second reason why you need to be liquid in life and also in your business. Then the third one is for speculative reasons. Okay, the third reason why you need to be liquid is for speculative reasons. Now, what do you mean by speculative reasons? We are looking at opportunities. When opportunities show up, okay, when opportunities show up, how are you going to seize the opportunities if you don't have money? So this is where we talk about investment savings, right? The money that is saved in whatever place you have it for opportunities. So I was talking about being rich. So when you're rich, okay, you have cash. Cash comes in and your need is small. So you have a pool of cash in your possession. Now, the question now is, how do you move from being rich to being wealthy? Is a function of assets. That's one of the things that defines the difference between these two. Asset, right? So how are you going to get the asset? You're going to get the asset by what? Taking transactions, and most times these transactions will be speculative because it is a risk. Every transaction is a risk. When you're trying to invest in something, it is a risk. You're speculating that this is going to go this way. It could go that way and you profit, or it could go the other way and you lose out, right? So when you're speculating, you need to understand that you're doing this because of the fact that you want to move from being rich to being wealthy, because here is where you now have assets, right? This is where you have assets that are helping to also bring more cash flow into your life. So the cash that is coming to your life to make you rich now is not just a function of your efforts, it's also a function of the effort of the assets that you have. So for example, for me, if I'm investing, right, my best kind of asset is always any asset that gives me these three things, any asset that I can get these three things from. Number one is profit, right? Number two is returns, and then number three is growth. You need to understand that every asset you're investing in, right? Every asset you're investing in can give you one of these three, but the best assets you should go for, should always look out for, are assets that can give you these three. So for example, in the equity markets, I have some moves I make in the stock market. Okay, if I'm looking at the equity, for example, there are some equities I buy. I'm not buying them because I want to keep them. I am buying them because of market movement, because of my study, because of my research. I'm seeing that, okay, there's going to be a movement here, right? So for example, I'm seeing that the share is selling for like, say, 5 naira, right? And I've predicted that this share in the next 3 to 4 months is going to sell for 9 naira, right? So that is a 4 naira margin. Okay, I can go in and buy like maybe 1 million units of the shares. Okay, buy 1 million units of the shares, hold it for 4 months. I'm not buying it to keep it, right? Because before I can buy a share to keep for life, there are so many other things that need to be at play. But there are some businesses that will make you profit that don't have those things. Now the question is, should you just overlook them because of the fact that they don't have the fundamentals you're looking at? For me, no. I have to seize the opportunity, right? So I will buy this, hold it. When it hits my mark or close to my mark, I will sell it off. That difference is what is called profit, right? I will take my profit and I'll move out. Probably take my profit, put the money back in fixed deposit, or put the money back somewhere else. But this money that I used to do this is my liquidity money. It's always I call it my liquidity fund, right? My liquidity fund. I'm using it to track profits in places I can go in, stay for a while, make some cuts and pull out. Okay, that's profit. The other one is returns. Returns come in form of dividends, right? Returns come in form of dividends in equity market, in form of dividends. If you're looking at maybe real estate, you're looking at rental income. Okay, that is, those are returns that come from that. So if I invest in these shares, for example, let's assume that I buy 1 million units of these shares, and in 3 months' time, the company is going to pay me dividend, right? Let's assume that they declare a dividend of say 1 naira. Okay, 1 naira per share, and I have 1 million units of the shares within that period. What do? I'll quickly make 1 million naira from the shareholdings. That is returns. I didn't have to do anything, right? I didn't have to sell the shares. These returns came just because of the fact that I am holding the assets within that period. Okay, that is return. So some assets are just good enough to give you profit and returns. But the third one is growth. So let's assume that these shares now, right? I bought it for say 5 naira, and there is maybe the share split. Okay, the share split. They are saying, okay, we are giving you. The company says, oh, we are giving you 1 more share for every 5 units of shares that you hold, or 1 more share for every 4 units of shares that you hold. That is share split, share split, right? If that kind of split occurs and I am in position, what happens is that my 1 unit of shares, my 1 million unit of shares grows, right? It grows. That is one. Another way to also look at the growth is the fact that I bought the shares for 5 naira and now the shares is selling for 7 naira. So the unit share of the price has grown from 5 naira to 7 naira. That difference is a growth opportunity, right? The same thing when you buy real estate. Let's assume you bought a plot of land for 5 million, okay? And after 3-4 years, the plot of land is now selling for 9 million. There is a 4 million naira growth difference. If you decide to stay in position, right? If you decide to remain in position with the asset, you have the growth. The growth has occurred, right? It's something you can claim because it has happened, okay? If you want to sell this asset, you can sell it, and when you sell it, you make a profit. Profit can only be possible when there is growth, right? So when growth occurs in an asset, profit becomes possible. If there is no growth in the asset, profit will not be possible. So when you're looking at getting into an asset, you need to consider profit, returns, and growth. And for you to be able to get into any assets, to be able to experience this, you must be liquid. So that is why it's very important that you should be liquid. You should be liquid. Don't always squeeze all your money into things. Make sure that there's a way you structure your investment moves. There's a way you structure your portfolio in such a way that you can actually be building, right? The idea always should be for you to grow your money. That is one key idea you should have at the back of your mind every point in time. You should always be interested in growing your money from 1x to 2x. So if you have 1 million, you should be focused on, say, in 6 months time or in 12 months time to grow it to 2x, to make it 2 million, right? So you can say, okay, you know what? If I grow my 1x to 2x, I will take the extra x I've been able to make, put it in a more solidified asset, right? So you can take this and put it in real estate, because real estate is not liquid. Real estate is not something you buy today and you want to sell tomorrow. If you get into real estate, you have to stay in for a long time, right? But the thing is, if you lock yourself in such assets, okay, and all your money is locked in a place like real estate or things like that, you won't be liquid. You won't be liquid, because even when you have opportunity and you want to seize the opportunity, you can't go to the market and just liquidate your real estate and get into the opportunity. No, the real estate is not sold like that. All right. So you can say, okay, you know what? Let me twice X my money, then the difference, I'll pack it in something like real estate, something that is solid and strong, right? That I don't need to sell now, something that I will not be needing now. That way you tie the money down somewhere and you're also still liquid for speculative opportunities, right? So I hope I hope that makes sense, and I hope you'll be able to I hope it's brought some kind of insight to you, and you begin to look at how you can really improve yourself. And for those of you who are online watching, if you want to learn more about things like this, then you should join our School of Money and Investment. School of Money and Investment is a place where we learn about money and how to make optimized investment decisions. So if you're interested, you can join our next cohort and step into our campus and join a community of people who are learning and growing and implementing. So check the description to this video. You will see details on how you can join, or the WhatsApp number on the screen. You can send a WhatsApp message to it and you'll be able to join the School of Money and Investment and begin to grow your portfolio gradually. So I will see you in the next video.